sea meets every shore. Not an if, but it's a when. From beginning to the end, I am fire in the rain. I've been through it all before, and I'd go through it again. Feel me burning from within, 'cause I am fire.
With the current situation in Uganda, if you don't have what to do in town, my simple advice would be don't move recklessly unless it's necessary. Welcome to the life I live. My name is Susan Awor, your new BC. Today I have a guest, a student, yes, from one of the colleges that we are here to know what he does, why he is here with us, and everything about him. Hi.
My name is Derick Tagubia.
Yes.
At school, Namasuba College.
Yes. Okay, today I have a student from Namasuba College. He is called Derick from Namasuba College. We're going to know about study part and his life. Derick, let's look at your childhood story. Who was this young Derick? Let's start from Derick was a child. Were you born like this, or what happened exactly?
Nali muto gakyatambula omusujja ne kunkuba n'endwala.
Okay, Derick here got malaria, and after getting malaria, we're here to know what exactly happened. Kato wafuna malaria chechaddako.
Akati tambulira mu liseya akati bankitula bukituki n'okundeeta ku kisomero.
Kati mama yabikola ebyo. Omusujja guno gwakukwata olina emyaka emeka?
Ntujuke gankyali muto naye emyaka simanyi bulungi.
Okay, being a child, you might not remember exactly what happened, but he says he can't remember exactly what happened. Okay, because it's confusing. Luganda English, but we shall go with that. Katutunulire embeera watandika ddi okusoma Derick?
Natandika we najja wano namala natuula P7 nenjija wano.
Kati P7 tusooka otandike, watandikira wa P1, sooka otunuulizemu embeera nti natandika P1 guno omwaka nensomerako wano ne wano. Omuntu aliyo yatulaba ku UBC ategeere nti Derick yasomerako wano ne wano.
Nasomerako ku Lwediddebula ne ku Kampala School, then nenjija wano.
Nojja wano. Kati wano we tuli ssaawa zino osomerawo ki?
Computer science.
Computer science. Okay. Right where we are seated is a school of computer science, College of Commerce, and he does computer science. We are yet to know about his motive and why computer science of all. Katutunulire embeera ani yakugamba Derick genda okole computer science? Maama oba kyali kuggwe nga ggwe?
Kyali kunje
Kye wali oyagala.
Kinali njagala mu bulamu bwange.
Kati omusujja guno mama yakugambako ekyakuleetera okuba omulema nti yali malaria, bulwadde ki?
Si malaria. Nina kikola sikosero.
Sikosero. Kati treatment yo ogifuna?
Emira bangulira eddagala erya kapito n'emira buli kanaku.
Omira buli kanaku. Kitegeeza obulamu bwo bwonna bwa ddagala. Otamize olwo ki ekibeerawo?
Ndwala.
Olwala. Soko katutunuliremu embeera y'essomero tukusanze wano olwatuuka olunaku olusooka. Soko ntunulizeemu experience yo olunaku olusooka wawulira otya ku ssomero wano?
Nawulira bulungi.
Wawulira bulungi. Kati computer science gy'okola ya bwongo nnyo oba still mistaken, someone will correct me. Ki ekyakusikiriza okola computer science eno?
Omutima gwazza nga mpulira
kyoyagala
kyenjagala ne ŋŋamba kansome kompyuta.
kati bbanga kiri omaze wano ku computer science? Mwezi gumu mwaka gumu
oba mwaka gumu.
Okay, my guest today has sickle cell, and from sickle cell he got a physical disability that left him on a wheelchair at the age of 3 years. He's giving me different figures because he says at some point he forgets, and we shall go with that. But the fact that he has been here for 1 year doing computer science, and computer science is doing it not because someone told him to do it. He's doing it because his heart told him you have to do computer science, and that's why he had to go for it. And I'm going to remind you this: if your heart ever tells you go for this, don't think twice to do it. If Derick his heart can tell him, then why not you? At some point I sit and tell myself, if I can do it, anyone can do it. Okay, you're still on the life I live. Derick, atutunuuliremu embeera eyawaka. Mama akuleeta ku ssomero buli lunaku. Ye mama takola.
Aba ayina okukola.
Kati akikwasaganya nti asooka kintunuzeemu. Asooka n'akudropinga wano n'akuleka n'adduka n'akola ebirala, oba abeera wano permanently n'akulinda?
Asooka tuuca wanje ku ssomero, diini n'agenda ku mulimu n'akola.
Kati n'amala n'ajja n'akukima. Okay. Ye kati abaana balala mama bayinako, oyinako bato bo, baganda bo, njagala tunuulira embeera y'ewaka. Wako kikwasaganya otya?
Ye bali.
Nga bameka?
Nga 5, abawala omulenzi omu.
Ye gwe weka mulenzi?
Yes.
Kitegeeza mama akwagala nnyo 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 nnyo. Kati gwe first born, gwe last born?
No. Me.
Oli mwana wakumeka? Asooka, wakubiri, wakusatu, wakuna, wakutaano?
Mu balenzi bonna.
Kati gwe asooka ate gwe asembayo mu balenzi. Kale njagala ompeeyo moment emu Derick gye wali obaddeko awo ebeere yakusoma lw'oka essomero lyakatandika, nga moment eyo togyerabira n'ogamba naaliko ku ssomero ndabye olina mukwano gwakubeera ku bampa. Mukwano gwono osooka ompeeyo moment emu, then ompe story ya mukwano gwo. Njagala ompeeyo akaseera ako ke wali awo n'ogamba obulamu wadde ndi ku kagaali naye nga nsoma, obulamu nali mbweyagaliddeko mweno embeera.
Mu bulamu bwange mukwano gwange asinga atuddeko wali, naye gwe mukwano gwange yenna gwe nsinga okwagala. Ndi asinga okunyambako.
Kansubire nga nvudde ku eno program nange nja kubeera mukwano gwo.
Olwedde oli ofuuse mukwano gwo.
Okay, we are now friends. We are friends now. Chili fine. Okay, giving up on yourself would do nothing, and telling yourself you cannot make it should make you not go for it. Children and students are at home right now as we speak. I think the right thing for mothers is to sit down your child and tell them the Uganda we are living today is not for joke. As a mother, if at one day I have a son, I'll definitely do that. We have here a mother who wakes up in the morning and brings the son at school and picks the son. Kati bano bato bo nabo basoma? Bashoma,
Yes.
Kale kati njagala kulekereza naye nga sinaba njagala olekeyo obubaka ku muntu akulaba ku UBC omugambe nti Derick saagwamu essuubi kyova olaba ndi kusomera olunaku olwaleero. Osanga omuntu ali ku kagaali ng'aweddemu essuubi anaagenda ku ssomero enkya.
Nje Derick saagala kuggwamu essuubi kubanga okusoma nkwagala nnyo. Ne kompyuta eri ku bwongo bwange. Singa okwagala mu bulamu bwange. Bonna abali eyo bajje wano basome, bayige n'okuyiga.
Okay, he just said, for my English audience, what he just said is, I, Derick, I love studying so much, and computer is in my head. You saw him pointing his head. Computer is in my head, and if you're out there, don't lose hope. Studies, you can do it also, provided you have the brain and you tell yourself, I can do it. For now, I'm connecting to an organization that is taking care of Derick. We are yet to know what they do. Why Derick? Why did they have to choose Derick? Yet there are many students out there who would want the same opportunity. And before I get to them, I'm going to tell you, if you have a chance to get someone to give you a hand in anything, please utilize it, use it hopefully, and be thankful, be humble. Yes, for students, I know you be there and be like, hey, yes, this world will put you down if you don't put it down before you do that. I'm going out for break, and when I get back, we are going to look at why Derick. Why did these people have to choose Derick?
Like the sea meets
I don't know if education is still the key, but it is. I think it is. It is the key to success. Education has been the key always. Before I went for break, I informed you that we have an organization. This one organization is taking care of this young boy here to see that he's at school. I'm pretty much sure these organizations are doing a great job. I have a very beautiful young lady. The word young comes first. She is from one of the organizations that takes care of PWDs. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Hi.
Hello.
How
Hi.
are you?
I'm okay, Susan.
First, say hi to our viewers, then our good names. Let me start from there.
Okay. Good day, viewers. My name is Victor Nale from TUNAWEZA Foundation.
Okay, we have our lady from TUNAWEZA. Now, TUNAWEZA is a foundation that takes care of persons with disability. Why TUNAWEZA today? Because Derick, we had earlier, Derick we have with us now says TUNAWEZA takes care of his school arrangements and everything. So let's start with Vicky to briefly tell us about how Derick came into this organization. Then from there, we get to know what is next.
Okay, thank you, Susan. Derick, we do have an inclusive program called Inclusive Education, where we take students after their primary level to secondary level. But then also those ones who are done with the secondary, but they can't continue with their normal mainstream schooling. So we take them to institution like where Derick is, the School of Commerce. And then those ones who can do vacations, we also take them to the vocational institutes. So we try to see that after my primary, what's next in life. So, and that's where we come in as TUNAWEZA Foundation to see how we can support these children to go to the next level. And that program is basically sponsored by the Polio Children and Children in Need, which is a charity organization in the US. And that's where basically we come in.
Okay, let's look at a small thing, of a bit of it. Does TUNAWEZA choose for me what to do, or I choose for myself?
No, what we basically, a very interesting question. What we basically do in our approach, we use the design thinking approach. We want the child to own their life, and for that reason, the parents or the child tells us what they want to be. For example, like Derick, he was like, I want to do IT, I want to do something to do with computer. So we are trying to support him to sustain his potential, because that's his potential and that's what he really wants to become.
Like I'll always tell you, good Samaritan are still there, and good organizations that give a hand are still there. You just need to spot one for yourself. You will get there. Let's look at TUNAWEZA. Why education?
Why education? Interesting. Doesn't mean I have different projects on board, but for the interest of time, today we're on the education part of it. The education now, as you've seen Derick, the challenges he is going through at school. You find that we have two of our students in the same school, but you find for the Derick, his case, he's using a wheelchair, and say in terms of accessibility, it's very, very kind of difficult for him. And we felt that without education, you can't get to the next level in your life. And for that reason, we feel like if we take these students from their primary to the next level, they can become something. They can get to where they want to be. Because our vision is to create potentials from the people with disability. And that's why we are believing in education.
Education is still the key to success, like I say.
Yeah.
If you want a better life for yourself, go for education. If you don't want a better life for yourself, join drinking. Okay, Vicky, let's look at the inclusiveness of the education program you're having. Maybe brief us part of it so that we get to know where you have reached as TUNAWEZA, where you're heading, and what is it all about.
Okay. So we are having a program on board which is going to be launched at the US Embassy, and that is on the 30th of November. And basically, we are going to be working on the inclusiveness of people with disability. We want to compare policies and governances, what the US government is working on or they've worked on. For example, the US signed an act that was in 1975 on the inclusiveness. What about us? Our inclusiveness act have just come in like in 2006. So you find like we're trying to compare the people who were there before, what has worked for them, and where are they right now. For example, right now, when you talk about the US inclusiveness, 80% of students living with disability are in the mainstream schooling. What about here? You feel like, as we've already seen the case study of Derick, that it is so challenging for him to be in such a kind of an environment. But we have schools that can adopt the inclusiveness model in play, the Inclusiveness Act, which we still have in the country. But you may find like most of the schools we are living in, I mean, our students go to, even me, myself, are not kind of inclusive. So why are we here? So we are here basically to do the inspirational part of it. We want to inspire the students themselves who are having disability, that through the education, they can become something. We want to talk about their career guidance. How did I make it as Victor? What about the rest of Olivia? You see Olivia and the rest of other person living disability who have gone through different schools and they are now in public sector and they are working. How have they really made it? So that is part of the mainstream we want to work on when it comes to this project, the TIE project. But then also we want to also see where is the education sector coming in terms of the policymakers, the ministry, the KCCA, the education sector. Where are they coming in and what have they done? We want to have that diplomatic kind of conversation on the table to see where are some of the gaps on the table and
what is supposed to be done.
Yeah, what can be done really at the end of it. But then also, what about the schools? Are the schools doing something for the inclusiveness? If a student with disability comes, because I remember when we started this inclusive education, we went to different schools. Basically, mostly the government schools. I won't mention the name. But then when I went there, the ed teacher was telling me, oh yeah, you want your children to come here, but the problem we have, we may have few steps, but our library and our dormitories are upstairs, and for that reason we can't support you. That's a no goes on, meaning you're not wanted in my school because I can't accommodate you. And for me, I felt like I could not have a conversation with the ed teacher because it does not see a potential. Because I was telling him, can you imagine personally, as Vicky, I went to a mainstream school in my secondary level. And if each school I went to, they came and gave me such a reason, it means I could not have gone through to a school. So we want to see different schools coming out and say, we are in this together. We want to be champion. We want to be the ambassadors to see the student living with disability also ascertain education. Yes, so those are some of the main. But then also the parents, you feel like most of the parents, they have their children with disability, and they're leaving them home
behind.
And they feel like, oh, Derick can't go to school. If Mama Derick never came out and say, let me take my child to school, maybe TUNAWEZA couldn't have got Derick to support Derick to
Okay,
the
on
next
that
level.
point of Derick's mother, do these parents come to you or you go to them?
No, we have a program where we go to different the schools. We go to different schools, the schools for people with disabilities,
So the
students with
schools support
disability.
them and tell you, Tunaweza, this person cannot handle this. You can do them for them.
No, what happens is like when we go for our career guidance sessions, we talk about what we do. We talk about the challenges in case you have any challenges, can call us. And so in the after their university, after their primary level, they basically reach to us and say, I met you on this day, on this venue, and you're talking about this and this, and we need some kind of additional support. But we don't just give support. We go and assess the child at their home. We see where they, but then also the school gives us a background saying this child has been a trouble. The child has been having challenges in terms of funding, in terms of school fees. We don't know whether this child will continue with the schooling. So that's where we come in and feel like, okay, we don't want this child now to go and stay home. We want to see this child get to the next level in his or her life.
I think for now,
Thank you.
I have some question answer from the Commissioner of Education, because this is an interesting one. The key is education. Education is the key. I grew up knowing if I go to school, I'll be great. If I don't go to school, I'll not be great. Okay, we shall hear that bit of it, of the education from them. It's a question answer, like I said.
My name is Sarah Bogos Chiboli. I work with Ministry of Education and Sports as the Commissioner for Special Needs and Inclusive Education. And I'm happy to join this show so that the public can get to understand issues about special needs and inclusive education. We have quite a number of policies that are already in place that support inclusive education in Uganda. I'll mention a few from the global perspective, because everything comes from the global perspective, and then it comes down until each country makes its own policy to support. So we have a policy, especially in the education sector, we have the Sustainable Development Goals, and that is Goal 4, which is talking about access to quality inclusive education. And to that one, Uganda is a signatory, and already Uganda is in the process of rolling it out. And from that, we also have many other policies that are supporting. But besides that one, when I come to the Ugandan perspective, if I leave out the global one, the SDG 4, which is the most current, but before the SDG 4, we have the education for all, the Salamanca, which was talking of all children getting access to school. And there are also still others. But now let me come to the Ugandan one. We have also a number of policies that support education in general and then support inclusive education. And when we talk about inclusive education, we are mostly looking at learners with special needs. So already the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda talks about children's rights, talks about children accessing education, and it also emphasizes non-discrimination. So if we're talking about non-discrimination, then this makes all learners with special needs also access education. Then in that one, we also have the Disability Act, which also still talks about the rights of persons with disabilities. That is, the act has also been most recently revised. We have an act of 2020. It's talking about the different categories of disabilities and how they should be supported. It even goes further to talk about the form of infrastructure we have. And infrastructure, we talk about schools, we talk about hospitals, we talk about roads, buildings, anything. How should they be so that people with disabilities are able to access all these social services? So that one also still gives us an advantage and an entry into inclusive education. We also have the Education Act 2008 and in that Education Act, and if you can also recall when they said the government first of all gave 4 children privilege to UPE, then they said now all, but the beauty in that one was that the 4 children who had been talked about, the first priority was to be given to learners with special needs. So all these indicate that government really has the goodwill, is aware, except now how to see that we operationalize all the things that government has put in place. Now, from those very many, as a ministry, we are coming up with the National Inclusive Education. And maybe that one I'll now talk I'll talk more about it in the area of opportunities, because this is now our biggest opportunity that we have as ministry. So we are coming up with the National Inclusive Education Policy, which we have worked on from 2018, yes. You know, at first we were having 2, but now we just made it to be 1. And in this policy, it's looking at all children who have been excluded. It's not only looking at learners with special needs, but all those who have been excluded because of the very many different issues that arise. So as a government, as ministry and the government of Uganda, we have the supporting policies. It is now about implementation of those policies that are available.
Like the sea meets